So we're going to be reading from the New Oxford Annotated Bible, New Revised Standard Version with the Apocrypha. We're going to go to 2nd Esdras chapter 7. We're going to start at verse 36, life after death. Because some people believe that you go straight to heaven, or at least certain Christian communities. Right here it states, verse 36. The pit of torment shall appear, and opposite it shall be the place of the rest, and the furnace of hell or Sheol shall be disclosed, and opposite it the paradise of delight. Verse 37, then the Most High will say to the nations that have been raised from the dead, that debunks the reincarnation BS, look now and understand whom you have denied, whom you have not served, whose commandments you have despised. Look on the side and on that. Here are delight and rest, and there are fire and torments. Thus he will speak to them on the day of judgment, a day that has no sun or moon or stars or cloud or thunder or lightning or wind or water or air or darkness or evening or morning or summer or spring or heat or winter or frost or cold or hail or rain or dew or noon or night or dawn or shining of brightness or light, but only the splendor of the glory of the Most High, by which all shall see what has been destined. Okay. 43. It will last as though for a week of years. This is my judgment and its prescribed order. And to you alone I have shown these things. He's talking to Ezra, right? Verse 45, I answered and said, O sovereign Lord, I said then and I say now, blessed are those who are alive and keep your commandments. But Christians say the law is done away with, right? But what of those for whom I prayed, for whom amongst the living is there that has not sinned, or who is there among mortals that has not transgressed your covenant? Question mark. Verse 47, and now I see that the world to come will bring delight to few. Keyword few. Okay. But torments to many. For an evil heart has grown up in us, which has alienated us from the Most High, and has brought us into corruption and the ways of death, and has shown us the paths of perdition, and removed us far from life, and that merely for a few, but for almost all who have been created. Okay. Verse 49, he answered me and said, listen to me, Ezra, and I will instruct you and will demolish you once more. Now we're going to go back to verse 47, and it states, and now I will see that the world to come will bring delight to few. Okay. Keyword to few. So now when we go to this book, the Apocrypha, of course, 2nd Esdras only goes, chapter 7 only goes up to verse 70. As we can see, it goes all the way up to 106, I do believe. But the precept, that verse we just read, 2nd Esdras chapter 8, and he answered me saying, the Most High has made this world for many, but the world to come for few. Verse 3, there be many created, but few shall be saved. Okay. Few shall be saved. Okay. Verse 49, he answered me and said, listen to me, Ezra, and I will instruct you and will admonish you once more. For this reason, the Most High has made not one world, but two. Okay. So everyone lives, in a sense, in their own world or their bubble or the context of what nation that they thrive in, right? Verse 51, inasmuch as you have said that the righteous are not many, but few, while the ungodly bound, hear the explanation for this. If you have just a few precious stones, will you add to them lead and clay? Verse 52, if you have just a few precious stones, will you add to them lead and clay? I said, Lord, how could that be? And he said to me, not only that, but ask the earth, and she will tell you. Differ to her, and she will declare it to you. Say to her, you produce gold and silver and bronze, and also iron and lead and clay. But silver is more abundant than gold, and bronze than silver, and iron than bronze, and lead than iron, and clay than lead. Judge therefore which things are precious and desirable, those that are abundant, or those that are rare? Question mark. I said, O sovereign Lord, what is plentiful is of less worth, for what is more rare is more precious. Right? He answered me and said, consider within yourself what you have thought, for the person who has what is hard to get rejoices more than the person who has what is plentiful. Doesn't sound like equality to me, right? Especially when we got to compete against these other nations. There is no equal footing. We have to work for what we get, right? Verse 60, so also will be judgment that I have promised. Keyword promised. For I will rejoice over the few, keyword few, right? Who shall be saved, because it is they who have made my glory to prevail now. Talking about the elect, right? And through them, my name has now been honored. Okay. I will not grieve over the great number of those who perish, for it is they who are like a mist and are similar to a flame and smoke and are set on fire and burn hotly and are extinguished. Keyword, mist.
Pure little minds have been corrupted with lies. All this talk of a modern God or no God. There is one God, the God of the Israelites, and he is a stern and vengeful God.
Okay. The God of the Israelites, right? Verse 62, I replied and said, O earth, what have you brought forth if the mind is made out of the dust like the other created things? For it would have been better if the dust itself had not been born, so that the mind might not have been made from it. But now the mind grows with us, and therefore we are tormented, because we perish and we know it. Let the human race lament, but let the wild animals of the field be glad. Let all who have been born lament, but let the cattle and the flocks rejoice. It is much better with them than with us, for they do not look for judgment, and they do not know of any torment or salvation promised to them after death. What does it profit us that we shall be preserved alive, but cruelly tormented? For all who have been born are entangled in iniquities, meaning what? Sin, and are full of sins and burdened with transgressions. And if after death we are not to come into judgment. So This notion that you die and you go straight to heaven or hell, perhaps it would have been better for us. He answered me and said, when the Most High made the world and Adam and all who have come from him, he first prepared the judgment and the things that pertain to judgment. But now understand from your own words, for who have said that the mind grows with us. Okay, verse 72. For this reason, therefore, those who live on earth shall be tormented, because though they had understanding, they committed iniquity. And though they received the commandments, they did not keep them. And though they obtained the law, they dealt unfaithfully with what they received. What then will they have to say in judgment? Or how will they answer in verse 74? How long the Most High has been patient with those who inhabit the world, and not for their sake, but because of times that he has foreordained. Meaning what? Predestination. Verse 75, I answered and said, if I have found favor in your sight, O Lord, show this also to your servant, whether after death, as soon as every one of us yields up the soul.
I've seen it 1,000,000 times. He's a goner. You see? Here they come. Lucky bastard. Could have been the other ones. You never know.
We shall be kept in rest until those times come when you will renew the creation, or whether we shall be tormented at once. He answered me and said, I will show you that also, but do not include yourself with those who have shown scorn, or number yourself among those who are tormented. Okay. For you have a treasure of works stored up with the Most High, but it will not be shown to you until the last times. Now concerning death, the teaching is, when the decisive decree has gone out from the Most High that a person shall die, as the spirit leaves the body to return again to him who gave it. First of all, it adores the glory of the Most High. Okay. Now we're going to go to the KJV to precept that, right? Ecclesiastes chapter 3. We'll start at verse 19. For what happens to the sons of man also happens to beasts. One thing befalls them, as one dies, so dies the other. Surely they all have one breath. Man has no advantage over beast, for all is vanity. All go to one place. Okay. All are from the dust, and all return to dust. 21. Who knows the spirit of the sons of man which go upward, and the spirit of the beast which goes down to the earth? So I perceive that there is nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his own works, for what that is his heritage. For who can bring him to see what will happen after him? Okay. And when you go to 22, heritage also means portion or lot. So we're all given a lot in this realm or reality. Remember your Creator before the silver cord is loosed, or the golden bowl or bowl is broken, or the pitcher shattered at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the well. Verse 7, then the dust will return to the earth as it was, and the spirit will return to the Most High who gave it. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher, all is vanities. Okay. The whole duty of man right here. It states, we'll start at verse 12. And further, my son, be admonished by these, of making many books there is no end. So all this new information, yes, it's wonderful. I'm not knocking anybody who finds new information or whatnot, but it can become wearisome. And much study is wearisome to the flesh. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments. But they're done away with, right? Says a certain community. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. For the Most High will bring every work into judgment. Keyword judgment, right? Including every secret thing, whether it is good or evil. Okay. So we all got to face our skeletons at one point or another, whether we get away with it or not. We're back at the Oxford Bible with the Apocrypha, verse 79. If it is one of those who have shown scorn and have not kept the way of the Most High, who have despised his law and hated those who fear the Most High, such spirit shall not enter into the habitations, but shall immediately wander about in torments, always grieving and sad in 7 ways. The first way, because they have scorned the law of the Most High.
Every Sunday you go to church and they teaching you the law's done away with. We under Christ. They were nailed to the cross. We under grace. But somehow this law of tithing wiggled its way to the modern day Christian doctrine. Isn't that just amazing?
The second way, because they cannot now make a good repentance so that they may live. The third way, they shall see the reward laid up for those who have trusted the covenants of the Most High. The fourth way, they shall consider the torments laid up for themselves in the last days. 5. The fifth way, they shall see how the habitations of the others are guarded by angels in profound quiet. The sixth way, they shall see how some of them will cross over into torments. The seventh way, which is worse than all the ways that have been mentioned, because they shall utterly waste away in confusion and be consumed with shame, and shall wither with fear at seeing the glory of the Most High, in whose presence they sinned while they were alive, in whose presence they are to be judged in the last times. Verse 88, now this is the order of those who have kept the ways of the Most High, when they shall be separated from their mortal body. Okay. During the time that they lived in it, they lavishly served the Most High and withstood danger every hour so that they might keep the law of the lawgiver perfectly. Therefore, this is the teaching concerning them. First of all, they shall see with great joy the glory of him who receives them, for they shall have rest in 7 orders. The first order, because they have striven with great effort to overcome the evil thought that has formed with them, so that it might not lead them astray from life into death. The second order, because they see the perplexity in which the souls of the ungodly wander, and the punishment that awaits them. The third order, they see the witness that he who has formed them bears concerning them, that throughout their life they kept the law with which they were entrusted. The fourth order, they understand the rest that they now enjoy, being gathered into the chambers, key word, gathered into the chambers and guarded by angels, in profound quiet in the glory waiting for them in the last days. The fifth order, they rejoice that they have not escaped what is corruptible and shall inherit what is to come. And besides, they see the straits and toil from which they have been delivered, and the spacious liberty that they are to receive and enjoy in immortality. The sixth order, when it is shown to them their face is to shine like the sun, and how they are to be made like the light of the stars, being incorruptible from then on. The seventh order, which is greater than all that have been mentioned, because they shall rejoice with boldness, and shall be confident without confusion, and shall be glad without fear, for they press forward to see the face of him whom they served in life, and from whom they are to receive the reward when glorified. This is the order of the souls of the righteous, as henceforth is announced. And the previously mentioned are the ways of torment that those who would not give heed shall suffer hereafter. Then I answered and said, will time therefore be given to the souls after they have been separated from the bodies to see what you have described to me? He said to me, they shall have freedom for 7 days, so that during these 7 days they may see the things of which you have been told, and afterwards they shall be gathered into their inhabitations. I answered and said, if I have found favor in your sight, show further me, your servant, whether on the day of judgment the righteous will be able to intercede for the ungodly, or to entreat the Most High for them. Fathers for sons, or sons for parents, brothers for brothers, relatives for their kindred, or friends for those are most dear. He answered me and said, since you have found favor in my sight, I will show you this also. The day of judgment is decisive and displays to all the seal of truth, just as now a father does not send his son, or a son his father, or a master his servant, or a friend his dearest friend, to be ill, or sleep, or eat, or be healed in his place. So no one shall ever pray for another on that day, neither shall anyone lay a burden on another, for then all shall bear their own righteousness and unrighteousness. I answered and said, how then do we find that first Abraham prayed for the people of Sodom, and Moses for the ancestors who sinned in the desert? And Joshua after him for Israel in the days of Achan, and Samuel in the days of Saul, and David for the plague, and Solomon for those at the dedication, and Elijah for those who received the rain, and for the one who was dead that he might live, and Hezekiah for the people in the days of Sennacherib, and many others pray for many. So if now, when corruption has increased and unrighteousness has multiplied, the righteous have prayed for the ungodly, why will it not be so then as well? He answered me and said, this present world is not the end. Okay. The full glory does not remain in it. Therefore, those who are strong prayed for the weak, but the day of judgment will be the end of this age and the beginning of the immortal age to come, in which corruption has passed away. Sinful indulgence has come to an end. Unbelief has been cut off, and righteousness has increased, and truth has appeared. Because right now we're in the knowledge, right? Therefore, no one will then be able to have mercy on someone who has not been condemned in judgment, or to harm someone who is victorious. I answered and said, this is my first and last comment. It would have been better if the earth had not produced Adam, or else when it had produced him and had strained him from sinning. For what good is it to all that they live in sorrow and now accept punishment after death. O Adam, what have you done? For though it was you who sinned, the fall was not yours alone, but ours also who are your descendants. For what good is it to us if a immortal time has been promised to us, but we have done deeds that will bring death? And what good is it that a everlasting hope has been promised to us, but we have miserably failed? So now we're back at the Oxford's annotated Bible with the Apocrypha. On some of the notes, it states, dispute between Ezra and the angel. It is necessary first to undergo the trials of this world before one can receive the rewards of the next. Number 1, the formal nights, 4:1, 5, 31, 3-9. The angel tells 2 parables of a sea and a city to illustrate his point. By implication, the world was created entirely good for Israel's sake. Keyword, Israel's sake. That is what the Bible's main character is talking about. And when Adam transgressed, that inheritance was despoiled. This world of evil is contrasted with the greater world to come. Okay. It also states the seer or prophet exhibits a characteristic concern for the ungodly, but is told that their punishment is deserved. So now we're going to start at 2nd Esdras. We're going to start at verse 22. Nevertheless, they were not obedient and spoke against him. They devised for themselves vain thoughts and proposed to themselves wicked frauds. They even declared that the Most High does not exist. And they ignored his ways. They scorned his law and denied his covenants. They have been unfaithful to his statutes and have not performed his works. That is the reason, Ezra, that empty things are for the empty and full things are for the full. For indeed the time will come when the signs that I have foretold to you will come to pass, that the city that now is not seen shall appear, and the land that now is hidden shall be disclosed. Everyone who has been delivered from the evils that I have foretold shall see my wonders. But the Christian talks about the rapture. Okay. For my son, the Messiah or Yahushua, shall be revealed with those who are with him, and those who remain shall rejoice 400 years. After those years, my son, the Messiah or Yahushua, shall die, and all who draw human breath. Then the world shall be turned back to primeval silence for 7 days, as it was at the first beginnings, so that no one shall be left. After 7 days, the world that is not yet awake shall be aroused, and that which is corruptible shall perish. Okay. The earth shall give up those who are asleep in it, and the dust those who rest there in silence. Reincarnation is not in the Bible. So these camps who teach it and preach it, I mean, they're wrong. They're in error. And the chambers shall give up the souls that have been committed to them. So now we're back at the Oxford's Annotated Bible, Revelations 6 and 9. We're on the chambers, okay? So when you die, your soul, you'll be resting in the chambers, or what some people call the spiritual realm, okay? 6 and 9, we're going to start right here. The 5th seal describes the appeal for divine justice and retribution by the martyrs, the heavenly response to their plea. The souls of the martyr are said to be under the altar because they had been martyred for the sake of Christ, or the HaMashiach. Altar meaning what? The chambers, the chamber of souls. Okay. How long is a cry for divine vindication uttered by those who have suffered unbearable oppression? Avenge our blood. Okay. Vengeance is of the Most High, right? God is the one who takes up the cause of those killed for the sake of justice. Okay. White robe. Okay. And so forth. 6:12 through 17. The opening of the sixth seal unleashes a great earthquake, and it is catastrophic effects on the cosmos and on human society are described. Black as sackcloth. The stars fell to the earth. One would say that would be the firmament breaking. I think recently there was glass that came down. We're definitely living in some glorious days. People who still want to discredit the Bible or what our ancestors, prophets and seers, were describing. They had a connection. The Most High in that time period, the connection and openness was in that time period. I do believe it's been closed, because you hear a lot of false prophets and teachers as well talking about they directly talk to the Most High. But there's a lot of false prophets out here. There's good teachers and there's bad teachers. If you're going to claim to be anything, be a teacher. But don't be a prophet, because if you're a prophet, you got to bat over 500. You got to bat 1,000. Meaning what? You can't miss. If the Most High is talking to you, why haven't you written it down and put it in a book? Because everything's already been revealed as far as certain books that we have and are available to read and discuss and debate and so forth. But a lot of these people out here claiming to be prophets, there are no prophets out here. It's just people that want self glory or vindication or just man worship. This is why certain churches or camps believe in the reincarnation doctrine, because they want to be worshipped. Point blank, period. Okay. Also right here that the Bible is strictly talking about Israel. I mean, one will have to just... And another thing, the Bible is strictly talking about the 12 tribes. I mean, it tells you that in Revelations, right here. Revelation 6, actually Revelation 7. We're going to start at verse 4. And I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000 sealed out of every tribe of the people of Israel. Not every tribe out the people of Christianity. Or Islam or Judaism. None of that stuff, man. It's talking about the people. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. God bless you. Right here, verse 5. From the seal, verse 5. From the tribe of Judah, 12,000 sealed. The tribe of Reuben, 12,000. The tribe of Gad. The tribe of Asher. The tribe of Naphtali. The tribe of Manasseh, the tribe of Simeon, the tribe of Levi, the tribe of Zebulun, the tribe of Joseph. Okay, and from the tribe of Benjamin, 12,000. After this I looked, and there was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, from all tribes and peoples and languages, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, robed in white with palm branches in their hands. They cried out in a loud voice, saying, Salvation belongs to our God, who is seated on the throne, and to the Lamb. Verse 11. And all the angels stood around the throne and around the elders and the 4 living creatures, and they fell on their faces before the throne and worshiped the Most High, singing, Amen, blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be to our God forever and ever. Amen. Okay. I mean, it's telling you right here what this Bible is talking about. So if you still want to push certain Christian doctrine, Christian is just an offshoot of the Babylonian Kemetic mystery religion. Christianity is a Hamitic religion. Okay, I don't know why people do not get that. Babylonians started first, their concept of the heaven and hell when you die, which is not biblical. And then it became the Latin church, and then the Latin church became the Catholic church. Okay, the Most High shall be revealed on the seat of judgment, and compassion shall pass away, and patience shall be withdrawn. Only judgment shall remain, truth shall stand, and faithfulness shall grow strong. Recompense shall follow, and the reward shall be manifested. Righteous deeds shall awake, and unrighteous deeds shall not sleep. The pit of torment shall appear, and the opposite of it shall be the place of rest. Okay.